So I'm going to kick off today by briefly presenting a visual overview, which will give you a quick look at how the organisation is structured and the services and solutions that we deliver. Then what I'm going to do is hand over to Lee and Neil to deliver the bulk of the Dynamics 365 webcast. Okay, so first of all, just going to kick off with some webcast guidance. All attendees will be muted during the presentation, but we will have a Q&A session at the end. So if you don't mind, if you could please note down any questions that you may have, or if you want to pop them in the IM window to the left of the screen, if you've got that facility, then we can go back to them during the end of the presentation. Alternatively, if you want, any follow-ups can be scheduled by your account team, or if you're new to Visual, then please feel free to contact inquiries@visual.com. However, you know, if you've got questions, we'd love you to ask them during this session so we can get them covered off today. Okay, so I'm just going to run through the session objectives of this webcast today. So the aims of the session is to give you an overview of Dynamics 365. Firstly, we're going to kick off with Lee, who is going to give you an overview and of the market and also provide some examples of how Dynamics can help organisations. Then Lee's going to hand over to Neil. Neil is going to walk through a couple of visual client examples. These examples will demonstrate where we've enabled our customers to utilise Office 365 and Dynamics 365 to help them manage requests such as managing freedom of information or raising concerns. And then finally, we're going to finish off the session with a bit of information detailing how Visual can help you and your organisations utilise Dynamics 365. Okay, so first of all, just a quick introduction to Visual from me. Hopefully it's a quick reminder for people that have worked with us before, or a bit of a helpful overview for people that are new to Visual. So Visual are a pure play Microsoft partner. We only deploy Microsoft technologies. We specialise in Microsoft technologies, and quite uniquely to the market, we deploy across the whole Microsoft stack, which becomes particularly important when organisations are looking to deploy multiple solutions at any one time. So Visual was founded in 2005. We're seen as a technical powerhouse in the Microsoft ecosystem. Our services are focused on helping our customers to leverage value from their investment in the Microsoft licenses to ensure that they consume and deploy their entitlements in the most effective way possible. We've been shortlisted for Microsoft UK Partner of the Year on numerous occasions, and we're immensely proud to be crowned Partner of the Year in 2015, which was our 10th year of trading. We've also been recognised locally and nationally for our successes in the IT industry, as well as been awarded a top 100 employer by the Sunday Times. Okay, so we lead with digital transformation. We've been pioneering with digital transformation for many years now in the UK. We have 3 key ready strategies for our customers. We have Connected Business, which focuses on delivering the right information to the correct people at the right time on the right device, therefore allowing them to make informed business decisions. Our second proposition is End User Computing, which focuses on providing the user community with the right tools to help them perform their roles as effectively as possible, allowing organisations to provide a secure and flexible working strategy. And our final third strategic proposition is around optimising service vision. This is where we help our clients to access the most suitable home for their infrastructure and applications, ensuring they optimise their efficiencies by driving best value out of their data centres, whether that be on site, in the cloud, or potentially a mixture of the two. So this slide represents how we're structured here at Visual. We comprise of 4 divisions. The 4 divisions are consulting, services, skills and solutions. So first of all, we'll start off with our consulting group. This is split into 2 sections. We have the business group and the technical group. So the business group is made up of architects, engagement managers and business analysts. This team particularly focuses on transformational change, which helps to align technology with the strategic business outcomes. They focus mainly on business outcomes rather than the technology, and they provide a roadmap and the mechanisms of how to achieve the desired customer outcomes. The next part of our consulting team is the technology consulting team. This is made up of 2 teams, which is cloud productivity and cloud platform. Within this team, we have specialists that deliver consultancy around their chosen field. So here you can see the different teams that are part of that technical group. We've got the business productivity team, which includes products such as SharePoint and Office 365. We've got the CRM, which obviously covers the Dynamics 365 suite. We have an application development team, which is an in-house application team. And then we've got the data platform team, specifically looking at technologies such as SQL and business intelligence. We also have the UC and messaging team, who manage technologies such as Exchange and Skype. And finally, we've got the cloud infrastructure team, who work with technologies such as SCORM, Azure, Identity and Access, EMS. Okay, so then we have our services division, which is the managed services team. So this team is made up of dedicated support professionals who deliver a wide range of support and managed services. This could be monitoring our customers' environments, maintaining their environments and optimizing their technology solutions. The team is built to follow ITIL methodologies. It's also fully ISO compliant, and all of our engineers are Microsoft certified and SC cleared. So the managed services team are a really flexible team. They can provide a blend of reactive or proactive support depending upon your requirements. Then we have the skills team. This is basically our visual education team. This team was brought about really from our own need within Visual to create our own skilled workforce. So we identified a shortage in the market for skilled ICT resources, and to combat that, what we've done is developed our own apprenticeship scheme, which has been a huge success, and we're now helping other organisations to face this challenge and helping them to get apprenticeships on board and work through their organisation. So we are now fast becoming one of the leading apprenticeship providers in the UK. Finally, our final service is solutions. So this is a specific solutions team where we provide our own solutions portfolio. So we've created quite a lot of bespoke applications such as Akin, which is a customer loyalty platform, suite of products, and we've also created a product called NIMOS, which is a set of applications for safeguarding as well. Okay, so now I'm going to hand over to Neil and Lee. We'll start off with Lee, who's going to give you a bit of an overview of the market.
Thank you, Kelly. Good morning, everybody. So my name is Lee Bingham. As Kelly mentioned, I sit within the solutions element of Visual. So My background is former CIO within the IT industry, so 20 years plus experience within retail IT. I've been enrolled now about 18 months with Visual, having previously had a 12-year relationship with the company in regard to our Microsoft partnership. So I'm going to provide you with a little bit of an overview in terms of Dynamics 365. Its change and impact on the market state as we kind of see it today. Some of the work and development that we've been doing directly with Microsoft, and we'll give you a brief overview in terms of the sort of systems, solutions and technologies that we've kind of developed in partnership. So just to provide you with a little bit of an overview then in terms of the state of the current market. So there are some key trends that are driving the market that we kind of see today that are affecting businesses and driving transformation across the application stack. Fundamentally, customer experience. So customer experience is changing significantly, and it's technology that's kind of driving that change. Significantly, most of that change is now kind of driven by mobile, fundamentally mobile first, with social kind of really starting to have a greater degree of impact in terms of how both people kind of interact with brands and business, people's trust and opinions, sharing, and the effective delivery of those services now into individuals and into businesses now fundamentally kind of sets the trust and the engagement model. That dynamic is a significant shift, and as far as brands are concerned now, the opportunity and the experience to deliver that directly into the consumer and into the customer is absolutely key. It's extremely easy now for people to kind of switch to a competitor. The market is extremely open, and the opportunity there is fundamentally easy, and the power is now absolutely with the customer. Likewise, from a device perspective, obviously devices are kind of increasingly connected. As device technology kind of evolves, the mobile becomes that much more important, I think, to the whole customer engagement. And fundamentally then that starts to kind of have a really sort of deep impact from a customer perspective in terms of how compelling that experience is, how kind of closely they can now start to align to customer experience and really start to kind of put that at the heart of a business strategy. So from a productivity perspective, the impact there is obviously kind of quite significant. So it's equally significant from kind of business criticality. So from a scalability perspective, looking at basically kind of embedding productivity tools directly within the business to effectively drive efficiency and productivity from employees, specifically around obviously kind of driving sort of speed to business and speed to market. So the development in terms of technology, pushing that effectively, quickly, and the delivery then in terms of industry, as far as the alignment is concerned into specific states of the market, then is absolutely critical. Digital transformation then really driving the heart of that proposition. So, as far as digital transformation is concerned then, so fundamentally then allowing digital transformation to kind of sit at the heart of that business strategy is really key to how Dynamics really kind of brings that to life and sort of starts to really kind of embrace the different ways against which we can now start to collate and sort of join the disparate elements of the kind of business proposition together. So customer engagement and driving customer engagement is clearly key. We've touched on that from a kind of high level perspective, but then equally then driving that back into the business to empower employees to really affect and drive that customer exercise is absolutely critical. Optimizing operations, so again kind of bleeding that back into the business and ensuring that the operational elements and the stack that kind of sits behind that then is fundamentally aligned. And then finally, the transformation in terms of products. So that's very much kind of then about ensuring that products and productivity are kind of all jointly aligned. The delivery into the market space is fundamentally all enabled then by digital transformation. And those elements together will really kind of enable the business to kind of grow, to be streamlined, and to become the most efficient and productive model that is capable. So looking at next generation then, so this is a fundamental shift, and obviously from my own background and having had years of very, very kind of traditional segmentation between CRM and ERP, those stacks have always kind of been fundamentally separated, and they've always been a real challenge in terms of how you can actually integrate them and how you can kind of drive the value between the two. Often very, very difficult to kind of actually gain alignment between them. Record sets and disparate data is always a challenge in terms of how those records specifically are kind of cleansed, aligned, and known almost as a single entity. The utopian position, I think, from any kind of business proposition is to have that kind of single customer view. And the next generation and the development, obviously, around Dynamics has now kind of started to bring that together. So it's about then enabling those applications to work seamlessly together across the business process, really kind of driving then sort of all elements and all those kind of key propositions. So across sales, customer services, field services, operations, and then product automation, and obviously then marketing. So specifically from the marketing capacity, there are some fundamental changes then that kind of have integrations into Dynamics. Really kind of driving, I think, again, sort of key functionality, starting to kind of bring those together. And again, this is very much now starting to kind of align from an internal perspective then. Some of those segmented and disparate elements of the business really starting to kind of drive the opportunity for them to become collaborative and operative as a single entity and using a single tool at the heart of the business. As far as the kind of business intelligence element of that is concerned, challenge is really kind of then to transform that across the business, to really start to use a sort of single tool to kind of drive specific outcomes, and to really be able to kind of see those outcomes and those kind of deliverables as a single data set across the entire business and across those entire set of touch points. Clearly indications then around integrations with some of the key Office tools. So again, Microsoft kind of productivity tools, making sure that the alignment is closely and directly aligned into Office is key. And then fundamentally then from an operations perspective, then making sure that, again, all of those kind of key business drivers and elements are fundamentally aligned in that stack. So, the advantages of Dynamics 365. So to touch on this at a very, very high level then, purpose-built applications. So applications that kind of fit roles in specific industries and businesses. So organizations can effectively start and really sort of focus and grow at their own pace. So this enables them, obviously from a cloud perspective, to kind of transition certain workloads and certain elements of kind of business operations as a gradual migration. So again, looking at very traditional models of both ERP and CRM, there's always been significant challenges in terms of implementation and migration. Dynamics really offers a kind of fundamentally different strategy now around how that can be both positioned and aligned to business objectives without really kind of necessarily kind of disrupting the existing and legacy systems that are currently in place, and you to really kind of prove the business benefits, lead with some of those business outcomes and objectives, and almost kind of remove the technology as a deliverable from an IT perspective. So no longer are IT necessarily having to kind of lead with the technology and the justification into the business. It can be much more fundamentally aligned to those business objectives and business operations. From a productivity perspective, obviously enabling greater productivity where people need it, seamless integration, familiar tools, obviously Office 365 as we mentioned, and integration into kind of business process. Those again, real key differentiators, being able to kind of accurately align all of those productivity systems into a single stack, delivered via cloud and enabling kind of scalability and efficiency. Intelligence. So from an intelligence perspective, effectively then business process management, integrating big data, integrating then advanced analytics, and then obviously IoT elements. So again, really starting to kind of change the value of that proposition into the business now. So being able to really kind of drive some of those key fundamental data elements and aspects around owning some of those specific workloads, really being able to kind of not only centralize them, but then also distribute and share them across the business, and enabling them to be able to fundamentally drive some of those not only business decisions, but also some of the kind of key value indicators then back into the business that can then enable some of those kind of key considerations and changes. And then enabling adaptation, obviously. So flexibility in terms of the cloud and scalability then. So adapting to an organization's transformational changes, speed of business and accuracy is clearly key, but basically enabling you to kind of have the extensibility of the platform so that it will scale with your business where and when needed, being able to kind of drive the values through not only CRM, but also then integrated ERP, and then obviously aligning with business productivity tools and specifically around Office 365. So moving on to digital transformation then. So digital transformation is effectively really kind of like sitting at the heart of the business proposition now. So personalizing experiences across channels is absolutely really kind of critical now to starting to understand not only who the customer is as a single entity in the business, but also in terms of getting a complete view and starting to be able to kind of personalize the direction and the experience with the customer. Dynamics 365 effectively enables those key types of omni-channel integration. So they've very much kind of been aspirational in terms of the past 5 years, where people have started to understand the segmentation across channel and attempted to join legacy systems across those entities. Dynamics really drives the enablement of that across web, across social, across marketing, email, and then equally then sort of voice and person. So really sort of starting to drive that very, very personalized direct experience, driving the point of ownership, not only from a brand and a business perspective, but really kind of starting to know your customer with some intimacy, driving frequency and recency, starting to understand their preferences and their profiles. It's absolutely critical now to the success. And equally from a customer perspective now, I think customer demands and understandings have really started to change. Customers have started to become very fickle, and rather than just being kind of price or product orientated, they're also now very, very much focused around the experience. What type of experience do they covet with you as a brand or you as a business? How do you deliver that? How do you kind of manage and maximize not only the changes in technology, but the very, very dramatic and dynamic shifts in terms of the market changes? It's about the enablement of that. Dynamics 365 fundamentally sits at the heart of that experience. So empowering your employees. So again, fundamentally a key and critical element of that, sitting in terms of the back office side of things. So ensuring that from an empowerment perspective, that employees are kind of given the necessary productivity tools that are familiar to them, that can be kind of easily distributed, shared and scaled, and fundamentally enable the business to really start to be able to reflect and become a very, very streamlined and effective and efficient business model. And it's about having the technology at the heart of that process which enables that. So basically delivering a modern user experience that works across devices and platforms and is effectively and inherently designed to work how people want, flexible, scalable, and obviously accessible. From an optimization perspective, ensuring that businesses are then kind of like optimized for both operations, so driving obviously key sort of ERP capabilities across financials, demand planning, procurement, supply chain, manufacturing in both sort of distribution and retail is absolutely key. So some of those elements in terms of how the business sort of manages those key and critical workloads, enabling certain industry specifics, so operational business processes, ensuring that they're extendable and they deliver the specific solutions from a business perspective. And then finally, transformation. So transforming products and ensuring that those platforms are extensible. So working through some of the specifics and some of the new kind of technology insights through Cortana, so Azure machine learning, and ensuring that the business processes are kind of as adaptable and as flexible as they need to be. So companies need to keep pace with the change of business and the productivity shifts, and fundamentally delivers now an advantage into market. It's a fundamental shift in terms of aligning those two product sets and those two kind of core workloads. Businesses are effectively now able to kind of get a complete and integrated view into the business processes, from both the sort of manufacturing process, from sales process, and equally from a service perspective, and ensuring that all of those deliverables are singly aligned now for a common stack. So just to recap, just to kind of give you a quick overview. So the Dynamics application effectively kind of sits at the heart of that entire business stack and model, and really kind of brings now the best of the Microsoft stack into a single entity. So from both a productivity perspective, from a collaboration perspective, from an intelligence perspective, they're all starting to now drive through that common platform to drive efficiency, scalability, equally delivery, and then fundamentally customer experience. We've been working closely with Microsoft over the past 12 months, focused around customer experience. We've been working on a direct application into market, customer experience platform called Akin. We'd be really keen to share that with you in a little bit more detail. It's not necessarily for this morning, but again, around focusing around customer experience model, how that can change and how that can be fundamentally managed throughout the business process, and equally how that kind of then bleeds back in terms of driving operational efficiency and back office productivity. So that was a little bit of an overview. I'm now going to pass over to Neil, and Neil will give you a little bit more of an introduction then in terms of and the demo into Dynamics 365.
Thank you. Thanks, Lee. Okay, so with Dynamics 365, we've given you an overview of the 365 stack, which is the latest evolution. And as well as the general Dynamics environment that you're provided with, there is so much more to it as well. You have various add-ons provided by Microsoft, such as portals, which allows you to create customer-facing or self-service websites. Gamification that allows you to create a competitive atmosphere in your business by creating games against certain business targets and KPIs. Office 365 groups that allows collaboration across your business for specific records. Customer insights that allows you to gain greater overviews on the interactions you have with your customers, and voice of the customer, allowing you to receive survey feedback from your customers. Now, these are just part of the Microsoft stack. Couple that with the Dynamics Marketplace, which is an ever-evolving arena where Dynamics partners can publish solutions that are available for Dynamics 365 users to install, trial, and ultimately purchase. And you can evolve your Dynamics 365 investment across the business, from extending your marketing capabilities with MailChimp integration, through to full HR packages, through to full ITSM solutions for managing your service desks. And that's without going into the latest planned releases for Dynamics 365, which includes integration into LinkedIn and Dynamics 365 for retail and for recruitment. So what I'd like to do is take you through a couple of demos for Dynamics 365. They're all individual solutions that we've built and built to fit the Dynamics 365 space. They don't fit in with the standard sales, marketing, project, field service areas of Dynamics, and they're XRM solutions that can be installed within an existing tenant, but give a tidy wraparound showing how Dynamics 365 would remain at the center of your business whilst the full 365 stack can be utilized. So the first of the demos is the Freedom of Information solution that we have built. So this FOI solution allows you to manage and record FOI requests quickly and easily. With standard Dynamics 365 functionality, you can share and assign FOI requests, and you can collaborate with other team members quickly and efficiently, bringing new members into an individual request with ease. You can record time spent on the request, and you have fully configurable SLAs. And as well as the standard functionality, we can change any forms, layouts, views, and fields with these to suit your business and your specific business requirements. The next one of these demos will be a high-level view of raising concerns. Now, raising concerns was a solution that we looked to build out for managing whistleblowing, and it enables people to raise concerns about situations they've seen in their business that may concern them. Again, similarly to the FOI, it manages concerns through a staged record, assess, and feedback process, allowing all concerns to be raised utilizing the full 365 stack. But with the raising concerns, there are some other tweaks within Dynamics 365 environment that allows for more detailed assessment and feedback. So if I go to my desktop, and we'll take you through some of the demos. So what can be seen here is the Office 365 stack. So this is for our FOI solution. So you can see within the Office 365 stack, it's more than just connecting CRM and your Word and Excel. This gives you connection to your mailbox, calendar, Yammer, allows you to access videos. You've got your OneNote, and then importantly, with part of Dynamics 365, the Power Apps and Flow. So Power Apps are individual apps that can be created with ease, and Flow allows you to automate a lot of the processes within the back end of Dynamics 365 and integrate it across not just the stack, but any other integration points you may wish to have designed. You've also got the mail inbox. So the mail inbox allows for full integration into Dynamics 365. You've also got the SharePoint sites, and then if we go into freedom of information apps, then we've got all of the FOI information. So if we look at the dashboard here, this is an embedded Power BI dashboard that can show all of the information that summarizes for existing FOIs. So what we can do is we can look and say, well, let's look at the requests by category, and they're based on finance. There are 9 closed categories there, 7 closed categories there, and there are 12 in total. If we then scroll down, we can actually see that it filters to just show the open requests, and you can see who's managing those open requests, gives you a complete summary breakdown. You can do it for any of the other filters. You can then start dragging and dropping and filtering on the standard Power BI dashboards. And then you've got the standard Dynamics 365 dashboards. So these charts are created within CRM. Within Dynamics 365, you've got the categories, you've got the requests per month. And again, as per everything within CRM, you can Dynamics 365, you can expand and drill down on any of this information. So you've got a list here of your active FOI requests, the ones that are about to expire, and all of your resolved ones. So if we go and we can have a look at an FOI request, and if we look at this one, it's for Billy Ellis. So Billy Ellis has asked for a freedom of information for a summary of the sales reporting lines, and all of this information allows us to manage this request. So you can go through, you can make sure that all of this information is recorded for the customer, and then you can go through the assessment stage. What you've got here is a business process flow that allows you to control and assess the information and make sure that you're going through stages, ensuring that data is captured at the right place. So if we want to move from the identify, which is the first creation of the FOI, to the next stage, it will not allow you to, because you've got an assessment complete here. So make sure that we put the assessment complete, and then we move on to the next stage. That then moves us into this section down here where we can start assessing and whether the request is liable, or vexatious requests, or repeat requests, whether it's escalated, whether there are charges available to be made, and whether an extension is required. So what you can do is you can see here that the SLA is for 2 days. We can extend the SLA. Let's remove those. So we can save those, the extensions requested for the SLA, and what will happen is that the SLA timer will automatically update. So that then gives us further days. We've requested an extension from the customer. You can then make sure that to move it through to the next stage, you can put information in, feedback's provided, originator happy, then you can move on to the outcome. Now that's a very basic summary of sort of the functionality of an FOI request. What you can also do is you can then start looking at putting in so you can also go into the Office 365 groups. So Office 365 groups within the area allows you to go into any requests. So for example, you've got a Office 365 group here where you can go in and you can look at all the information here. You can go into the notebook, and the FOI request with the Office 365 groups allows for full integration into not just conversations and team sites, but you've got a calendar. You can put files in there for storage and for collaboration, notebooks and connectors. So if you want to have a look at the files, this again just takes you into a standard SharePoint location. This is automatically created from a document from within CRM. And you can upload files. You can then share all of this information as required. So it's easy enough to add members. So let's just add in, we've got Chrissy there. Let's add in Ben Heyman. So, and this allows you to add Ben into this group. Ben will then receive an email and he will be able to access the Office 365 group. Now this is just from within a browser, but then if you look at the Outlook configuration, what we've got here is we've got a much greater control. So we've moved away from a browser. This is an embedded tool straight into CRM, into Outlook. And we can take this information for a question from a customer that's been received, and we can actually start looking at, let's have a look at the connector straight away into Dynamics 365. This will actually say to us, look, you've got this person doesn't exist, so let's create this as a contact. So we'll create Mark Wilson as a contact within Dynamics 365. So we can go into there, and that full integration into the Office 365 stack is there. We can then go into, have a look at the contacts, and go to M, and there's Mark Wilson, who's been added as a contact within the CRM immediately. We can go back into the Dynamics 365. We can actually decide to set this request that's come in for an FOI, and we can set it regarding a brand new Freedom of Information request. So clicking on New, this actually still from within Dynamics 365, within Outlook, will open up an FOI creation form. We can go into finance. You've got multiple categories that can be created, and you can save that group. So that request has been saved immediately. And what will happen here is it immediately kicks in the SLA, and you can then go back into this. You can associate and track this email to Mark Wilson, and then there's also an email that will go through to someone who's been created, and this email automatically will get sent out saying this is the case that you've got created. Now if we then go back into Mark Wilson's email, we can go into Office 365 groups, so into FOI requests. I'll go into my active Freedom of Information requests. Let's find Mark Wilson's. Go into this one. Let's go into the Office 365 group, and wouldn't you know it, it's not working this morning. But that's where you would create an Office 365 group, and then from within Outlook, you can go straight into where the created Office 365 group is, and this would then load up the Freedom of Information request. So all of this is done from within Dynamics, and it fully integrates into from within Outlook, and it fully integrates into Dynamics 365. What you can also do is you can set up any workflows and processes, so you can control these stages, you can set workflows, you can automatically assign and let people know, and you can put this into queues, you can put this case into this request into a queue. So if we have a look here, there are multiple queues that we've got created, and you could create a first, second, third line team. This case would then go into a queue, and people who have access to that queue can then pick up the case and manage it as effectively as required. You can then assign in and put in activities. You can put in appointments, tasks, send emails, add phone calls. Let's put a so we can call to discuss the person who raised the FOI, and we'll put that in for tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and that will appear in not just as an activity there, but it will appear in my activity list within Outlook, and it will remind me when I've got to do some of that information. So that's part of the FOI request. And then if we go in to have a look at the raising concerns. So again, raising concerns is slightly different, but raising concerns is for whistleblowing within certain businesses. So what we can do here is if we look at this raising concern, again, it can be tracked through either people raising a case through a portal, and they can raise the concern there, and they can do it anonymously, or people can phone through and it can be raised by a specific person. And what you've got again is you've got this business process flow that allows you to control the stages of the application and make sure that the assessment and the concern details and the outcome is recorded properly and effectively. And what you've got here is an automatically calculating self-assessment. So what we've got is if we turn around and look at these risks to patient safeties, what we'll see that if we change the values of these, the overall risk judgment percentage will change. So again, against this, there might be a concern that's raised, and it's a very low risk to everyone. That overall risk judgment changes. The overall risk judgment is based on that percentage. But if we change it to very high, then suddenly that overall score will change to very high. Then there are automated emails that would be sent and escalated to senior management automatically based on the very high risk judgment that's sent out to the customer. You've then got the anonymous concern for a person, so you've got no details there. It's something that's been raised through the website. And then you can see that the nature of the concern is all listed here, the date and time, where it happened, what happened, what the details are about the events, and then whether it's been verified. You've then got the ability to link it to other concerns. And then an interesting bit that you've got here is contributing factors. So you've gone through all of this information, you've done the interviews, you've done your concern investigation, and it could be related to someone's got problems at home. It could be due to lack of training that they've had in a certain situation, and it allows you to actually do greater detailed analysis and managing that application. And then you can manage the outcome. You can then detail on whether it's been escalated, who it's been escalated to, what the details were, whether it's been resolved. All of that is completely configurable within the Dynamics 365 stack, and this solution can manage the whole of the applications. So if we then go back to, we can get the deck back up. So that's a quick overview of some of the solutions that we've had built out. So the next bit is, how can Visual help your business? So we have three main services within our Dynamics 365 offerings. We have accelerators. So we can call upon we have accelerators, implementation, and product development. So we can call, within accelerators, we can call on multiple different accelerators to ensure that where possible for any project, we can accelerate the starting point to ensure you're saving money and getting the project implemented quicker. We have multiple different accelerators within the education platform. As you've seen, the freedom of information and raising concerns. We also have ones for safeguarding, for mobile case raising, for allowing customers to raise cases or concerns via a mobile using GPRS on the phone. taxi licensing planning applications for local authorities. Within implementation, we have a standard offering for design and planning workshops. This would normally include a one-day design and plan, with the outputs of that workshop being a high-level design document, schedule of work, a low-level design document, and a test execution plan. From that point, we build out solutions with test, deploy, and operate phases as per any standard visual projects. And then within product developments, where you may not be sure of what Office 365, Dynamics 365 can offer you, we can start with small product development projects that are delivered in an agile project based on your company user stories and requirements. This ensures that you can have a low investment overheads, but you can have a high return on functionality and a quick turnaround for any investment that you would first be looking at. So for the Q&A, I'd like to pass you back to Kelly Roddy.
Thanks very much, Lee. Thank you, Neil, for that very detailed overview. If we've got any questions, then if you'd like to post them up in the IM window, then we can cover them off now if necessary. So it doesn't look like any questions are coming through. If you do think of anything later on, please feel free, like I said at the beginning, to mail us at inquiries@visual.com, and we'll be certain to return your mail with some information. So I'd finally like to say thank you for taking the time to join us this morning on the webcast. We hope this helped provide some information around Dynamics 365. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Lee, for presenting as well today. And we'll call it quits. So thanks ever so much, everybody.